Liberation greetings to everyone, my people of the southern Cameroons. Accept greetings from me, Comrade John Ba Akuro, this Tuesday, 19th of February, or rather 19th of April, don't mind me, 19th of April 2022. My people of Ambazonia, brave warriors of our liberation struggle, I come here today filled, filled with strength, with vigor. My people, I come here excited. Yes, excited because I know that we have La République du Cameroon at this moment exactly where I had always expected that it will be. Exactly where all of us have been hoping that it will be. La République du Cameroon over the past few weeks, over the past few months, has done everything possible to be like that wave of water that frightened Simon Peter on the sea when he started walking towards our Lord Jesus Christ when the Lord told him, Come. He asked the Lord Jesus Christ when he saw him walking on the sea, said, Can I come? And Jesus Christ said, Come. And he started walking towards the Lord. And at some point, he turned to his side and he saw the waves of water were so strong and he got frightened and started sinking. And then the Lord Jesus Christ had to rush to his rescue to kind of protect him, to save him. Listen, all the time that wall of water was there, but because Simon Peter's eyes were fixed on Jesus Christ, fixed on the objective, fixed, focused on what he was looking for, on where he was heading, he did not see. Distraction caused him to start sinking, to start losing faith in his ability to attain his objective. In the past few months, La République du Cameroon has sought to portray itself as that wall of water to frighten us, to make us think that we were being defeated altogether. They put the package, they loaded it very well, and Mr. Paul Biya and his cohort were very convinced that it would get to the point where it would discourage too many in our ranks. Because that is their last gap, their last gap hope of keeping us under slavery and bondage, causing us to start believing that our independence quest, that our freedom quest is forlorn, that our freedom quest will never come to pass. The only thing Mr. Biya can do is to destroy our resilience, is to break our faith in what we want. Because they have tried all means, all ways, it has not worked. They claim that they had a diplomatic firewall. Cracks are getting in by their own same workings. That is a system that we have said several times that will destroy itself. And that is why on this platform, I have screamed and screamed, my people, let us get ready for an opportunity that is coming. This opportunity is near, it is close. It is an opportunity of no working of our own. All we need to do is simply prepare, plan how to take advantage of it. Listen, my dear people of Southern Cameroons, don't spend time casting aspersions. Oh, this one is an agent of La République, that one is an agent of La République, and all whatnot. They tell you, oh, Mbakuro, don't trust him. Listen, don't bother about me. Bother about the message I bring to you. And the message I bring to you has never been one that tells you that belief in a one and indivisible Cameroon, which is a utopia, has never been one that tells you that don't trust in our independence restoration quest. Never. Has never been one that tells you that it is divided, we stand. No. My people of the Southern Cameroons, at this point, I'm talking to us. The desperation in La République du Cameroon has reached fever point. You won't see it standing from outside. No. You can't feel it unless someone from inside, from within, tells you you want to know exactly what is happening. But right now, There are little cracks that perhaps you can see from the outside. And all you need to know is to learn that these cracks are hiding very big wounds inside the Biya system. My people of the southern Cameroons, this is the time more than ever before for each and every one of us to believe in this movement, to believe in our ability to break free, to believe in our ability to attain our objective, to believe in our ability to reach Biya. I say so with a lot of reason, so much reason. If you see what is happening, you will understand that Mr. Biya has played all his cards and now he's playing the very last one, the final ones. He's playing the final ones, the last cards, because he has removed everything and nothing has worked. Out of desperation, his foe of yesterday have become his greatest protege. My people of the southern Cameroons, when I tell you that La République du Cameroun is finished, it is not a farce. Take a look at what you have on your screen there. That is a new, say, fuel supply constraints, worsening electricity supply deficit in littoral, southwest, west, and northwest regions. Listen, they are telling you that this country that produces fuel, that produces petrol, that there is already shortage of petrol to the point where they are going to be unable to supply even the small energy that they were supplying to those 4 regions. My people of the southern Cameroons, they are talking here about fuel. It is not me talking. No, it is not me. Since the fire incident on Sonara, La République du Cameroun has not balanced. Since the fire incident on Sonara, La République du Cameroun has been going through thick and thin, importing petroleum products here and there when they were using petroleum products from home. They tried to fake, to give the impression that that incident didn't cause any damage. Trust me, it did beyond imagination. Look, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This announcement from Eneo, from the electricity production company. Just the tip of the iceberg. Because as we speak, the price of bread is up. The price of salt is up. The price of cooking gas is up. The price of a bag of cement is up. The prices of building materials are up. Especially the prices of, basic commodities are all up. And that is just the beginning of the spiral. As we speak, COVID will become an opportunity to implement a new tax. We also hear that Mr. Paul Biya announced that henceforth a COVID test kit will be 30,000. I now hear from internal sources that there are going to be too many places that before you get in, you must show proof that you have tested negative to COVID, and that test must not be older than 72 hours. Am I speaking? I mean that test must not be older than 72 hours. That is 30,000 CFA. So, in several instances, you either have to pay this tax or be barred from getting to places. Because a lot of people seem to see it only at the airport. No. Internal sources make me understand that the government is so cash-strapped, they need by all means to raise money. If you're doubting, pick up your phone now. Call people in the northern zone, in Bamenda. Call people in Biya. Perhaps call in other regions of La République du Cameroun. Find out from vote holder if they have received the yellow cartons, if they have received their credit cards. Today is April 19. The first trimester of expenditure ends in June. 6 months. But 4 months gone, the 2022 budget is not yet in execution in La République du Cameroun. 2022, April 19. This April 19. Normally by this time, they should be getting at least halfway or more gone with consumption of the first trimester, of the first semester of the state budget. But as we speak, a lot of vote holders are getting money from money lenders here and there to run their offices, hoping that when the credit cards arrive, they will be able to pay them back. That is what is happening in Cameroon now as we speak. There is no money. The credit cards are not going out because of difficulties in transporting them. No, you can transport them even early in the morning and they're everywhere in the country. It is because there is no money. They don't want anybody to begin engaging anything. By the time those cards arrive, it will be a few days left to the end of the first semester, and you are looking forward already to the second semester. And before long, the huge amount that they announced as state budget will only be executed maybe about 1/3. A good chunk of what will be executed will be the money meant for ministers to go on mission, money meant for ministers to buy fuel, money meant, for all of those kind of things. Investment, forget. There is no money in La République du Cameroun as we speak. That is why La République du Cameroun is now putting all its internal allies in the southern Cameroons on high tension. High tension. Very high tension. That takes me to the next aspect of our discussion, and not just next because it is a standalone, it's exactly related to what I'm talking about. That is why Mr. John Frundi, I'll begin by laughing here. Mr. John Frundi is reported to have hit hard on Amber apologists. You see, CRTV had to break tradition. Shatter tradition, because they scarcely do that on television programs, to go fetch Mr. Frundi on Skype to bring him on press hour so that he should come and make these lousy, stupid statements. Because Frundi says the Senate and the Parliament should press for the extradition of, the leaders of our liberation movement. He confirms that he foresaw that the Amber struggle will go nowhere, and then he narrates how Amber boys live on drugs. Listen, my people. These are the signs of the time. These are what? The signs of the time. I read somewhere somebody was saying, but when we used to throw stones at the police, when we used to cast pellets and all that at the police left and right, and we were getting maimed, we were getting tear gassed all over the place, for John Frundi, he did not see that as being a rascalic action. That when our mothers became takumbans, that is when people knew this name very well, sleeping at Frundi's compound to protect him from the very La République du Cameroon talks, who are now today Mr. Frundi's protectors. Mr. Frundi did not see this as, a pipe dream. When Mr. Frundi carried all of us on an expensive joke that he was seeking freedom, that he was seeking change in Cameroon, when he knew that he was looking for his opportunity, he wasn't an adventurer. Mr. Frundi suddenly gets up from slumber to come tell us how he had always known it was a pipe dream. Where is Mr. Frundi today with social justice in Cameroon? Where is Mr. Frundi today with equal opportunities in Cameroon? Where is Mr. Frundi today fighting for that freedom? That is said, John Frundi, fighting for your freedom, fighting for our freedom. Where is that freedom today? Has he got the freedom before sitting down to start narrating all what he is saying? Let me say this. For those who are getting surprised at why Mr. Frundi is saying this, you must be falling from space. From the moment it was clarified that both Mr. Frundi and Mr. Biya and all of these people belong to the same esoteric sects, castes that run Cameroon, I knew that there were two sides of the same coin, that nothing good will ever come away from there. Mr. Frundi forgets that a lot of people lost their freedom. A lot of people lost their careers. A lot of people lost their lives in dubious ways because of Frundi. Today he can talk. Mr. Frundi can talk. He can stand and talk. Has he forgotten so soon? I mean, a lot of civil servants, a lot of civil servants destroyed their careers, abandoned, finally traveled abroad in very difficult circumstances, managed to survive because they were supporting Frundi and they were attacked. Mr. Frundi, a lot of the people you are saying they should extradite today, have you forgotten that you collected money from them to sign asylum papers to enable them obtain asylum because you yourself stated that the conditions in that country were horrible? Those asylum papers you signed, Mr. Frundi, all those letters are there, visible. Today, you have the guts to come and stand and say they should extradite people. And Mr. Frundi goes further to say that the Parliament and Senate of La République du Cameroun should speak up the matter and press for extradition. At what time did that Parliament and Senate ever open discussion on this matter, on the Southern Cameroon's question, even once? Honorable Joseph Weber screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed. And you, Mr. Frundi, even were ready to vomit Honorable Joseph Weber way back in 2016, by the end of 2016, early 2017, because he stood for the same people that you had claimed for years that you were standing for. Of course, La République du Cameroun is desperate, seriously desperate. That's why they have to enlist everybody. That's why they've put Mr. Frundi under pressure that for all the millions you have been collecting from us, the time for you to show it is now. You must show the support. But unfortunately, Mr. Frundi, your will not be done. Unfortunately, Mr. Frundi, you have fallen short. Frundi has forgotten that there are so many moving in Bamenda, maimed, some without hands, begging from one motor park to the other. The effects of your activities. Mr. Frundi forgets that young people transform themselves in soldiers to march to wherever each time it had to do with protecting Frundi. These same young people you now call names to today. But most especially, my people, I don't want us to forget, lest anyone forgets, that this same Frundi is a joker. Because even the international community to which he tries to address himself now will never take him seriously. And the reason is clear. The newspapers are there. And in my subsequent broadcast, I will bring them here, where Mr. Frundi made clear that members of the government of La République du Cameroun who were at Tangaponji, through Jonathan Mijingni, through Callistus Gentry, all of them, I mean, Mengo Joseph Arin Congo, all of them, that they had their own set of Amber Boys. Several times Frundi had said that a lot of the atrocities being committed were committed by boys hired by Tanganji, disguised as Amber Boys. Frundi opened his mouth several times and said this. Mr. Frundi, are you asking for their extradition to the ICC, the extradition of Tangaponji, through Jonathan, through Callistus Gentry, Mengot Are Congo, Tabetando, all of those people? Are you asking me for their extradition? Come on, give me a break. This is why I say Mr. Paul Biya is in desperation mode. I mean, total desperation mode. That is why they will try and cast what you are seeing. Paul Biya is confused. That is why my people of the Southern Cameroons, I urge you to believe in this movement. Don't let anyone in any place called leadership, by their attitude, by their words, by the things that they do, by the uncouth things that you may identify in any of us, don't let any of this discourage you from supporting this movement. Please, you can't support me. You can't support Comrade Ayaba. You can't support Comrade Marianta. You can't support Comrade Ayuk Tabe. You can't support Comrade Kwanga. You can't support the SCNC. You can't support Comrade Boebe. You can't support any of us. I'm not going to say us, I'm talking of the movement. When I call them, I'm looking at the movement. You can't support any of us. Support people directly on ground zero where your resources will have the effect. Listen, my people. Identify a turf. Identify a niche in this movement. Hang on it. Every day, convince yourself that you are doing something to move this movement forward. You can't support Sako, you can't support anyone. Please support the movement. Look not on our faults. Look not on our misgivings. Look not on our insufficiencies. Look not at our failures, but look at the bigger picture of our movement. Let your eyes remain focused on the freedom we all seek. Use your head, navigate through, and find out where you can give your support so that it gets to where you want it to get to and so that it does what you want it to do. By all means, we must keep this movement alive. My dear people of the Southern Cameroons, what Need John Frundi has said, listen, what Need John Frundi has said should be a pointer to each and every one of us of what awaits us one by one if this movement were ever to fail. Don't even dream it. I say this with a lot of emphasis. If you ever have hopes, you ever have dreams of seeing Ambazonia, of seeing Southern Cameroons as home again, don't you allow yourself to be a conduit through which this liberation movement fails. Just think about it. When you hear Fundi talk, you hear the kind of things he's saying, the kind of proposals he's making, it should tell you already where each and every one of us stands. I listened to Nambere. I will get that video and play it here. It's not very audible, but I'll get it eventually and play it here. You will hear what comes out of his mouth. He says, having been there and having said he has repented from our movement and believed in a one and indivisible Cameroon, be among them, they never trusted him. They will never trust him. And he said, as long as you are a Southern Cameroonian, whether you like it or not, do anything you want to do for them, they believe that you are an Ambazonian. So why bother? Why? Mr. Fundi knows that at one point, every single Southern Cameroonian, every single one, was considered SDF militant until you managed to prove to a certain point that they raised a few doubts, but the doubts remained. I remember Professor Emmanuel Tata Mentang said once that as a Southern Cameroonian, at the time he says as an Anglophone, if you dress up in CPDM regalia, your hat is CPDM, your lenses CPDM, your shirt CPDM, your singlet or underwear CPDM, your panties CPDM, your trousers, that's your pants CPDM, your socks CPDM, everything on you CPDM, and you even do CPDM tattoo on your body. They pull all this and see all of that, they will end up still telling you your opposition. You are SDF. Why? Because they hate our gods. Why? Because they don't consider that we, the people of the Southern Cameroons, belong to their country. Why are we trying to force ourselves in a place where the people clearly tell you in triumphant words that you don't belong? My people of the Southern Cameroons, this is the time for us to get wise. This is the time for us to reason again. Those of you who are sleeping and just getting up in the morning and asking, how about that struggle? Is there still any reason to hope? Better stop doing that and become active again. Because when it happens, it will not involve only those who are fighting. When it happens, it will not involve only those of us who are putting our faces outside. When it happens, it will not involve only those who have been avowed that they are Southern Cameroonians and Bazonians and fighting for our freedom. It will involve even you, even your unborn babies. That is why I'm urging each and every Southern Cameroonians, think, lie on your bed, close your eyes, and try to imagine what it will look like. And sleep will get off your eyes. And you will know that where we are facing an existential crisis. This is why, my people of the Southern Cameroons, the kind of statements like the ones made by Frundi are an eye-opener. Inasmuch as I chastise him for saying that. But I am delighted and thankful to God Almighty for making it possible for him to make those statements at this point in time. So there should be a wake-up bell to all those who are already lying on their laurels, to all those who are already thinking that that struggle is their struggle. I can sleep me one day when they finish, they call me to come and join that country. Or if they fail, I go me. No! Stop. It will affect you. Just like when it rains. The rain doesn't select on which roof it falls. That is how La République du Cameroon's wrath will visit each and every one of us if we dare fail to attain our objectives. You see, there is another gentleman here. This man, I hear they call him Fon of Nsok. Some people tell me he is Nsem Mbinglo. I say some people tell me because I had the habit of seeing the real Fon of Nsok in his palace. Not this IDP that I'm seeing here. Because this IDP that I'm seeing here is not a prototype. It's not a figurehead, a picture of a Fon of Nsok. His ancestors should be turning their bodies in the grave and wondering, since when a lion started giving birth to a lamb? Since when a lion started giving birth to a goat? Because to imagine that this Fon of Nsok or this impostor now, I call him an impostor because he is not in his palace, whatever he's doing in Yaounde there doesn't really concern our tradition. Look at where he is. The real Fon of Nsok refused to move from his palace to go meet Ahidjo in Bamenda. Ahidjo, president of the Federal Republic of Cameroon, had to go on those bad roads and get to Nsok and meet the Fon of Nsok at his palace. This one is Mfingong. It's an IDP made useless by greedy CPDM politicians. Ask him, what is he giving a title to Cabral Libi for? Because Cabral Libi said the people of the Southern Cameroon need to be annihilated. So he's congratulating him for saying that. This man is not different from John Frundi. Because what he has just done now, endorsing a statement by Cabral Libi that the Southern Cameroon needed to be militarized beyond imagination and the people need to be wiped out in order for peace to return, in order for the Republic of Cameroon to install its colonial rule. By giving him this red feather, this title, the Fon of Nsok is endorsing that statement. So he is not different from John Frundi, who says people should be extradited to be court-martialed. The same Frundi who often stood up and condemned La République du Cameroon's human rights records, who often stood up and claimed that it was wrong to be hearing people before military tribunals. Today, that same Frundi stands up to take back his vomit. How incredible. Now the desperation in La République du Cameroon, like I said, has reached fever point. You see this? I beg your pardon. A lot of people have called me and they said, Mr. Akuro, please speak to this cooperation agreement between La République du Cameroon and Russia. Please speak to it because we want to hear. And I said, I'm just going to pass through it today because I will definitely come back to it in depth for people to get a clear understanding what is happening. At the moment we are talking, the same Joseph Betiasomo, whose signature you see on this document, signing side by side the Russian Minister of Defense is currently in China. And of course, the axis is clear. This is the same desperation that I've been talking about. And if you are doubting that we got here, don't forget that Russia is the lone country very quickly that signed an extradition treaty with La République du Cameroon. That's the lone of the five uh, permanent members of the UN Security Council. Russia is alone that signed an extradition treaty with La République du Cameroon. So following up on this, of course, is not strange because La République du Cameroon is so desperate that they don't believe in those countries that are talking to them about human rights, talking to them about democracy, talking to them about, crimes against humanity, talking to them about genocide. That is why La République du Cameroon will hurry towards Russia at this time because they want to back themselves with someone who will tell them, go ahead, grind, you are doing the right thing. That's why from there, Biya someone moved to China. Of course, you can see this is Biya someone here. That's Cameroon's Minister of Defense with the Russian Minister of Defense. And this happened just about 7 days ago, about a week ago, on April 12th. So it should not surprise anyone, therefore, and don't think that it is hearsay. This picture is meant for you to understand that it is something that actually happened. Something that actually happened. And so, my people of the Southern Cameroons, reason I'm saying the desperation in La République du Cameroon has reached fever point. And again, if you're doubting that the tension is getting too high, take note. Mr. Paul Biya, after over 2 months or so in Vomeka, is back in Yaounde. And he arrived in Yaounde and passed an injunction. No member of government, not one, is allowed to travel out of Yaounde until further notice. And now, at the same time that they are saying this, I was hearing, like I'm seeing on this newspaper, that there's going to be an all-Dion conference over the weekend, and some said it was going to be on April 23. That's Saturday, April 23. Yeah, Saturday, April 23. This conference, of course, is still part of the desperation because we know that John Ngute held meetings with the IDPs from the southern zone, led by for Tabetando, and also with the IDPs from the northern zone, of course, led by Vaniganse Mutigel, because it's the one that I saw talking there. Of course, they were all there, Philemon Young and the others, and all of those clowns, those IDPs, they were all there. So Dion Ngute had to move over to Ndian to give the impression that this Ndian, where some divisional officer in Ekondo Titi paid the price so heavily, is about to be free. Will he still be allowed to go? Hell no. Seems Mr. Paul Biya has clipped Mr. John Ngute on the wings, has clipped his wings. So I'm going to see whether there's going to be a special dispensation for Mr. Joseph John Ngute to go to Ndian over the weekend after that injunction. Listen, folks, I didn't intend to make this long. I just wanted to come out here quickly and draw our attention to the fact that my people of the Southern Cameroons, we are on the right trajectory. Be on the right side of history. Be part of this movement. Be a part of it. Don't forget, you will never ever belong to La République du Cameroon. That will never happen. But your people of the Southern Cameroons want you. This is the time for you to rise up and answer the home call. This is the time for you to rise up and prove to fatherland that I am a true son of Amazonia. Tap your chest after you get up in the morning and you say, yesterday I made a disbursement. I contributed one way or the other to keep this movement alive. And for those of you who continue to send containers to the Douala seaport, simply by stopping, by suspending those activities for now, you will be cutting off very important supplies from La République du Cameroon, which is totally on a downward spiral. My people of the Southern Cameroons, this is the time to stay strong. This is the time to stay glued together. This is a time for us to remain focused on our objective. Deny any form of distraction. Refuse to hear those talks from failures like Fundi. They are now just being used like the proverbial wall of water in the sea to frighten us. That is the only role they seek to play. Frighten us into thinking that we are not on the right trajectory. My people of the Southern Cameroons, we are closer to our freedom today than we have ever been at any time in this liberation movement. So stay strong. To God be all the glory.